Hey guys, it's Jess. So Lori and I were discussing how to find a jumping off point for our cooking tutorials, and we decided to start with the basics, the beginning of a recipe, which is really your prep work. And that involves all your slicing, dicing, chopping, trimming things, all of that, and that all takes knives. So I just wanted to give a brief introduction to each one and sort of what you use it for. Starting with this one, this is your bread and butter knife. This is the one that you're always going to reach for, and it's a chef's knife. This is your pretty standard chef's knife. It's not serrated at all, and it can be used for pretty much any task that you need it. This next one is a paring knife. It's a smaller knife, again with no serration, and this is good for your smaller tasks. So slicing up an apple or taking the top off of a strawberry, things like that. But it's still very versatile. This next one, this one, these are both for meat. And you can tell they have a bigger serration on them. And they're also, this one has the little forks on it so that you can pick up slices as you're going. And it's for their carving knives. Alright, this next one, this is a bread knife. You'll notice that this one has like a rounded tip on it. Most bread knives do because they're used completely flat. And they're only meant for sawing back and forth. Alright, this one, again, without any serration, this is just for slicing. You can slice anything your heart desires with it, and that's pretty much its best task. It's a much thinner blade than like your chef's knife, which makes it so that when you're slicing into things, they don't suction cup themselves to the side of the blade as often. This next one, this is a pretty unique knife. Its one and only purpose is to slice tomatoes. Tomatoes are one of those things that are tough to cut into because they're a little squishy and the skin's really tough, and this makes it so much easier. This next one is a cleaver. I've had it for probably about 9 years and I've never once used it. And that's because it's really good for only cutting into like meat with bone into it. So if you're cutting two bones apart, like at the joint, you would use a knife like this. It's straight across because it's not used for rocking, but coming straight down at whatever you're cutting. This one is a peeler. It's not your typical knife, but it is used in prepping a lot. It has a blade, well, two sides of a blade, and there's a little bit of give in the middle so that it can follow the curve of whatever you're trying to peel. And then it also has this sharpened tip on it that's nice for like getting the spots out of potatoes and things like that. These two things, also not exactly knives, but more like two knives stuck together, and they're kitchen shears. This first one is just your standard kitchen shear. I do use it solely for kitchen use and not for crafts or anything like that, just to make sure that it maintains its cleanliness. And then the second one is a little bit different. They have rounded tips, and they're also slightly serrated, and they're a little bit more heavy duty. And these are going to be the ones that you can use for actually like cutting things that have bones in them, and cutting through like the joints again with something like this. The last thing is a steel, and although this isn't a knife, it's used for taking care of your knives. And you'll use this to hone your knife, which I'm going to go through taking care of your knives and your cutting boards in another video. Thanks for watching and subscribe to our channel.